I'm kind of worried about, being down here tomorrow, just, see what might actually happen about this.
And
But
you're
they were
down here day in,
preparing for
day out.
something. I'm here every day. And I've never, 30 years I've been around here, and I've never seen anything like that.
What is up, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We are going to talk about a subject that everybody is talking about right now, and I want to get real clear that I wanted to show you both sides of this. I have never, ever in my 2 years on YouTube ever received this many emails about something. And I wanted to go into this saying this is just, dumb. The more that Dex and I have looked into this, the more kind of weird stuff that comes out of it. I think that anybody that just kind of thinks that this is some sort of stupid, fear porn thing, hasn't at least looked at what's going on, especially with the amount of stuff. Now, let me explain. A German gentleman, I believe he's German, started this all with a video. I think his name is Coachin D. Willie, something like that. I'll end up showing his name. We'll end up putting his link down below and on the connection on our website, marfooglenews.com. So you can watch the original one. Then a bunch of people, including some of the names in our group, in our group here in Niche, Adam from No More News, High Impact Flicks, all these folks ended up doing videos that kind of added their little pieces to it. So I am going to add what I got. I'm here. So I went down to Seattle today and I actually asked people, and I asked them honestly, I said, do you guys think that this whole date setting thing is stupid? And I basically talked to almost all locals. But I ended up getting footage here. I mean, this was a Saturday. This was absolutely packed. This was at the Pike Place Market where there were a good 20,000 people just wandering around. The streets are packed. People are walking in the streets, walking there. It's, shoulder to shoulder in the entire Pike Place Market. It's one of the biggest tourist attractions of the entire, downtown Seattle area. In fact, during the summer, upwards of 3 cruise ships a day come in there, and thousands come up and go through the market. The market being one of the worst places to be in our coming Cascadia subduction zone earthquake. When a 9+ earthquake hits, that place is literally demolished. This is one of the most dilapidated places. They've spent basically enough money, the Preservation and Development Authority, to keep it running and to keep it historical, down to the pipes, everything, the plumbing. The gentleman that here, I believe it was this one or the other gentleman I talked to, said that they work at the Athenian, and the whole floor, on all 3 floors of waterfront viewing area is sloped down, so the whole building is basically corroding and falling off of down the hill. And this is up on a hill right above the piers. Pretty scary. With that being said, it's also one of the scariest places to have a Fantastic Freddy, an F, these kind of things. Also, I've seen the debate online about this November 3rd event, right? I've seen people say this is dumb, this is crazy, and then I've seen a lot of people say a lot of things that make sense. First off, some of the people that are saying that this is dumb and this and that are the same people that normally talk about these FF events. Now, these FF events, almost anything that happens ends up getting called one of those nowadays. And I have actually been very vocal since I started this channel. Not everything is an FF, if you get what I'm saying. But there have been real events like that. And on that note, I will say there's been, throughout history, tons of them, which have been declassified later on, which we found out were absolutely horrid. Including in WW2 and WW1, there was some pretty bad stuff that was done. one involving a grenade and school children. Pretty horrible. So we're not going to get into that today. I went down and interviewed several people, and I essentially asked, like, do you kind of fall into this internet rumor? And I also did kind of a poll on who even knew about this thing. The original video got almost 200,000 videos, and then some of his other videos are up in the 50,000, 60,000, and this is a very small channel. At that, I think that a lot of people did not take it seriously at first because of the gentleman's accent. But then they started looking at what he compiled. Now, what I will say about the original gentleman that posted that video that basically compiles all of this source material, Simpsons episodes, magazines, movie covers, movie scenes, that all kind of point to something happening November 3rd, 2019. But some say, and this is the argument against, is that they're pulling things out and they're making coincidences out of nothing. So where we come in is we actually kind of did some digging. One thing that gentleman at the very beginning said that really creeped me out, which we will get into here in a second, the police wearing gas masks and mapping out areas and doing some sort of big drill. Then we actually found a second event that just happened in West Seattle yesterday, I believe, or it might have actually been today, called Stop the Bleed. And it was literally preparing for a mass event. And by the end of this event, which you actually had to get tickets to, everyone was leaving there knowing how to do tourniquets and do all this kind of stuff and be able to deal with a mass event, which I thought was super, super weird. I had never even heard about it. It was put on by the Seattle Management Emergency Management Office, and it was like this, kind of, from what I hear, people from Bellevue were going. A lot of these high up, kind of elite guys were going over there, and I just thought that was pretty freaking strange. Not to mention, it was on the same day that supposedly the SPD were wearing masks, mapping out, doing all these weird drills. And the gentleman says that it was basically like they were preparing for something worse than the WTO riots of 2000. So I'll play a little bit more of this clip here. These are just a couple seconds long. I did want to get especially to that. The full clips of these and everything else, all of the other footage that I took will be available over on Patreon. Everything here, all of the good meaty stuff is always going to be on YouTube. I am putting up the B-roll and stuff like that. So you're not missing anything if you're not watching the channel. But you can see kind of the more artistic side of the video that I do. All right.
And I was just, told via mouth of the people here in the market.
Now, do you believe that kind of stuff when you hear it? Are you superstitious enough to be like, that's kind of creepy?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past people.
And then, Kat, have you ever heard of anything? Let me ask you first. Have you lived in Seattle a long time?
I mean, not really. I probably 2.5 years, around there.
Enough to know what Seattle's like, though.
Yeah.
Did you come from a different state? East Coast?
California.
California, okay.
We both came from California.
Yeah, a lot of people from the market are. It's actually pretty cool. Have you lived here a long time?
7 years on the first.
Okay. Now, 9/11 happened. Obviously, not a lot of people saw that one coming. This one, the difference is with 9/11, they looked back and they found out all these weird clippings and magazines and weird predictive programming. This time, a German gentleman, kind of found all this stuff beforehand. And it's creeping enough people out that it started with one video, and then that went viral, and now probably about half the people I've asked today know about it.
Wow.
Are you guys working tomorrow?
I am actually off tomorrow.
I'm not. I mean, I'll probably.
I'm good.
Stay inside.
I mean, I might just come see the show if it's gonna happen.
So a lot of people think, and it's kind of changed into if it was a nuclear bomb. Do you guys ever think something like that would happen to Seattle?
No, we have military bases around us, right?
Yeah.
I think if it were to happen, it would go really bad for the.
Okay, so one thing I want to point out here is That is a common. I've interviewed a lot of people about kind of different things like this, which a lot of the stuff from my documentary. But a lot of people think, and this is nothing against Kat. Both of these guys, Nick and Kat, were amazingly awesome, like cool market folk. But the assumption that because we have lots of military bases, that we are protected against nuclear weapons. That's not the truth. I mean, essentially, with what technology they say they have, we have really no no defense that we really know of, other than what we have kind of publicly said, and those don't have perfect numbers. So yes, if somebody like a smaller group, one of the three kind of smaller ones, got us, yeah, they would be wiped out and annihilated. So yeah, she's right. The bad guys that did it would be kind of screwed. But as far as what we have here, as far as Amazon, we have Boeing, we have Microsoft, we have all of these huge ones, Expedia. I mean, the list goes on of all the tech companies that we have here, but we also have manufacturing companies here. We have some of the biggest companies there. So a lot of people don't know here that this is a huge target. And it makes more sense in some ways than some of the other states that are higher up than us on this list. And a lot of people I don't think know that we're in that like top 5 in biggest kind of hits because of who lives here and what lives here. I'm going to skip forward here real quick. Let's see here. Okay, this is just creepy. Okay, for the record, state your name.
Joe Parrish.
So, have you? So you saw something down at the market that was a little disturbing a couple nights ago, or yesterday?
Yeah.
What exactly did you see?
Well, from what I saw, it appeared as if the police department, the SPD here, it looked like they were preparing for some major disaster. Like literally, it looked like something that worse than the WTO riots we had back in the day. It was like 100 cops, probably no exaggeration at all, and they were wearing gas masks. Like they had baton, like they were doing.
What do you mean
drill.
by gas masks?
Like actual face
disposable
masks.
Ones or like
no,
real
this
ones?
was like real set. They were geared up for something major, man. And there was no exaggeration. More than 50. There was like 100 of them, and they were up fixing to something great.
Now, for anybody that knows the market, you said that they actually kind of did kind of a mapping thing, and they went through locales.
That's what it looked like. They were like preparing, mapping out areas, and like something serious like that. They were literally formatting for something.
Now, is there anything out of the ordinary about that for here? You've been at the market for a long time.
Way out of the ordinary. I've never seen anything like this before, ever. Like I said, like it was, other than when the WTO riot happened and all that action was going on, this was like they were preparing, like I said, for something worse than that.
For those too young to remember, what year was that about?
Oh boy, that I couldn't place a certain exact date on that, but it was that was over 10 years, 15, 20 years
like
ago. That was like 2000, maybe.
I think that was before.
It's like 20 years almost.
9/11.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was bad, but when I saw this, I'm kind of worried about being down here tomorrow, just see what might actually happen about this.
And
but
you're
they
down
were
here
preparing
day in, day
for
out.
something. I'm here every day, and I've never 30 years I've been around here, and I've never seen anything like that.
That's nuts.
It was like something you'd see out of a movie where they're like stationing, like they're gonna start doing drills and take people like into encampments for the apocalypse or something. It was crazy.
Since you've been here a long time, you've probably seen them do like little stuff like cops come through.
Oh yeah, of course. So they try to let people know that they're here and they're the ones in charge. But this was like something way greater than any routine, normal thing I've ever seen.
Can you describe now? Again, I just want to make sure these were not like doctor's masks that they hand out when you go to the doctor.
No, they had the hose attached to the gear, everything. Like they looked like they were like straight SWAT up. They might as well have had hazmat suits on.
And they weren't responding to anything.
They were not responding. They were not interacting with anybody. They were extremely ignorant, and they were planning something big.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So then another market folk walks up, and actually it's frozen with the security back there. Another market folk walks up and starts asking. He overhears it, and he sits there to hear it for a second, and he didn't want to interrupt. So then I believe that's what is next. In the meantime, I'm going to get Dex on the line while you guys watch the last part of this. The market folk actually starts asking him, and it was the same market folk that talked to me when I first got there, and I asked him. He did not want to go on camera, but he said that his neighbor in one of the stalls next to him, basically, he woke up, was drinking his coffee and in a good mood, and his buddy told him about it and showed him the video. He did show him the original video by Coach and G. Willie, and sorry if I've got your name wrong, whatever it was. And you could tell the more questions he's asked, he's a normal guy. By talking to him, just completely normal guy, sells leather, handmade stuff, whatever else. Very, very well-spoken gentleman. And you could just tell he was nervous. You could tell that he was bothered by it, and he's actually curious about it. And then he keeps coming back and talking to me. He's like, just one more thing. Like, and he's basically talking to me, and it's what I feel like is why a lot of people are watching my channel and watching my live show, is because if he talks to his neighbors about this kind of stuff, if he talks to the people down the road, they're going to start rolling their eyes. They're going to start saying, oh, this guy's he's a loopy. He's a tinfoil hat wearing crazy that's, in somebody's basement connecting strings and dots and things. That's not, most of the people in this community are very, very intelligent people, college educated. We're asking questions. Here's the thing. There's a button in all of us that basically clicks off, and we are not accepting just whatever they feed us. Essentially, that's what's going on. And the creepy part is why I have to be careful about this particular subject is I've already seen 3 or 4 channels do it and then get taken down. There's actually a couple that were completely gutted for this. Now, mind you, one of them said FF only the whole thing in their title, and I was like, that's like number one way to go out quick. But the other 3, they just kind of did, similar to what I'm doing now. So, this is something that's kind of a sensitive subject. As far as this other gentleman, he walks up and he starts questioning him. He was like, he didn't work that day. He actually asked me how far he should be away, and I said, I don't know. He asked me where I would be tomorrow, and I said, I originally I was going to be, at home. But I don't know if home is that far enough away. So, by the way, you can call me crazy. Like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. If I have the ability to go, maybe east or go to the cabin or something, take a day trip. Now, I wouldn't say that that's advisable for everybody else, but heck, I think, I don't think anything will happen tomorrow. But what we're going to prove to you is that they have a contingency plan for everything, including all of these things that people are so crazy talking about. Why are they actually preparing for them? And why are they very specific about what they're preparing for all over the country, let alone just a little bit more here? Because we haven't had anything happen here yet. So I'm going to continue this.
So vehicles.
So like, did they come through all at once, or you saw this throughout the course of the day?
It was like it was one moment of the day, but it was approximately a half hour long, I guess. I think they were maybe trying to prove. I don't think it was just a point they were trying to prove. I think it was a lot greater.
So where did they go? Down Pike Place?
They were all around the vicinity, as if they were, they were planning something, mapping things out. Also, it was hard to tell.
So they were all over the place.
They're all over the place. At one point in time, they were grouped like format, like soldiers. You know, it was insane.
Where was that happening?
Right here, right down along here first. They didn't cut through. They're not allowed to go through here with that. I guess, even though they're the cops, I think that there was too many people down here yesterday, civilian-wise. But they were a main street. They pretty much closed off the street like a parade.
So they were in formation.
He's freaked out about it too. I talked to him earlier. He's got the day off.
Well, I did it just like by happenstance. Have the day. Normally I work on Sunday, but I had the day off. Someone asked me this morning, "Are you working tomorrow?" I said, "No, actually." Why?
Like that. I don't think we should be down here tomorrow.
That's a trip. That part of the story is kind of a trip.
So as I said, yeah, this isn't it. I mean, like, so I'm going to show you the Stop the Bleed, which I thought was incredibly interesting. This is Stop the Bleed that happened yesterday, the same day that these guys were apparently doing this down at the market. This is across the water from downtown. So you can, Delridge is essentially there's the Puget Sound, which is kind of like this big, just consider it like half of it ocean, and then it comes in and it's a big dividing, it's like a U shape. And on the other side, here on this side is, you know, the downtown skyline. And then you keep going around the U shape, you get to the industrial, the cranes, the port, and then you go back around, and then you have kind of high-end homes over in West Seattle. Then you've got all of West Seattle over here. They consider it almost like, you know, it's on the other side of the water. It's right there from downtown. Delridge is where they did this event, and it was by the Seattle Office of Emergency Management. Just to show you here, this was an event, but I thought it was weird too. And Dex, I'm going to pull you in here. Are you on here now?
Hey, Adam, I am here.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of do a sound check. Now, I had to disconnect. Yeah, as far as this goes, this was not like everybody. This wasn't like just you walk in, right? This was a ticket thing, like where you had to have a ticket to get in.
Yeah, they published this. I don't know when they started posting this, but the event was actually today. So it's the same time that the gentleman earlier was describing the SPD running their drills. This was also happening at the same time. It was scheduled today, Saturday, November 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And yeah, you did need a ticket to get to it, but it was, I think it was, they were running it through Eventbrite, one of the online services where you just go and sign up, one ticket per person, but you could go to this event to learn how to deal with the mass casualty event.
Well, and just to correct you, the gentleman in the video said that it happened yesterday. So on the 1st.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's all right. And then,
I'm a day ahead of you. I've got my days backwards.
No, that's okay. And then this is an event where they basically promise you that by the end you will know how to be a hero in a mass sea event. And I don't even know, like that sentence right there is something that's being talked about a lot right now. Here's the thing. Something other than this, we have seen major events, including one of the worst events in September of 2001, coincide directly with the exact event. And we have seen now, I want to say hundreds of times, in fact, a couple websites were devoted to lining these things up. Out of all the places in a state, this one little town does a drill, and in that same exact town, there just happens to be an event with that town. I know this sounds crazy, and that's why, you know, a lot of the people in the community, we just ask questions. We want to know what the heck is up. We want to talk about these things. These are taboos. These are actually social taboos that we're not allowed to talk about. And as you can see, there's different, restrictions coming down on us for even asking these questions. For some people, they think, oh, that's just stupid. They think you're nuts. They literally like cut you off right there. They go, nope, that doesn't happen. That's never happened. Those people need to look into history, look at what happened in so many events, down to that Madden guy, the kid that went crazy at the Madden competition. literally across the street, they were doing one of these drills. They've had these drills, and it's always within about 3 or 4 days of each other. So, along with all of these other things, tomorrow's game is the Seahawks game, and they announced that it was the Salute to Service Day at the game. And they are going to have 150 service members. So you, Dex, you found this, and you also found another connection here with the Boom, Legion of Boom, which is our Seahawks kind of slogan here. But you said this is essentially service members that are going to be at this game?
Yeah, this is a big event for the game, or a big production they do every year. Once a year, there's a game that they salute service members, and there's up to 150 service members that are going to be at the game, that are participating in pregame ceremonies and halftime ceremonies. I think they're even doing some sort of battle on the field with obstacle courses or something with all the branches of the military. So it's sort of it's a very big deal. I mean, it's a big honor. It's something that the league does, and specifically the Seahawks do every year for service members. So it's a great thing, but it's also happens to be aligning with the same date that everybody's worried about.
Not only that, you found this other weird thing. Now, this is an advertisement for the next game, and it's got the 3 jerseys, 29, which 2 plus 9 is 11, 3, and then 125. So this was just like totally like throwing your number in the hat as kind of a weird thing that just came out, and kind of a guess to like 1:25 p.m. Now, do either one of us think that this is like gonna happen? Not exactly. We've been talking about that. But go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt you there.
Yeah, again, this picture was used on both Legion of the Boom from Facebook, which is I guess the slogan or the thing for Seattle. This same image was also used by the German gentleman, but the connection of these numbers, I don't think I saw him or anyone else do this. But again, putting these numbers together, you've got 11-3, 125. The reason 125 is relevant is the game actually starts at 1:05, so that's like 20 minutes after the game starts. Who knows? But it is something to look at. It is something to question, right?
And here's the thing. So government, schools, police, every service has a contingency plan on something. Do we? No. So say nothing happens tomorrow. That means, so if people don't have a date that they're not going to get worried about this kind of stuff, you don't have to panic. You don't have to sell your house. You don't have to hide in a closet. What we all need to start thinking about is that, we need to stop the mentality, which is what we see every single time something happens. People say, I can't believe it happened here. This kind of thing doesn't happen here. In our little town or in our city, this city is so safe, or this or that. We need to get that away. We need to just throw it away. It's 2019. We have some of the most horrible events happen on a daily basis. And the basically the amount that they're covered is how successful the criminals are. We don't want a successful criminal. Obviously, if it's a successful criminal, that means we have a loss of life that is greater than the rest. So again, one step they've taken is they say that they're trying to not cover it as much, not say the people's names, so then they don't get the fame and it doesn't motivate other people to do these things. But I don't think that you're thinking about the single people or the 2-man groups that are doing this. There have been groups for, decades, hundreds of years, but I'm talking about the actual groups that FBI, NSA, CIA, Homeland Security, these groups are watching. Those groups are much more organized, much more thought out, and all across the country, they've been doing drills against something chemical related. So all I am saying is that we need to see the things. I've shown you on my show, on my live show. If you're not subscribed to Marfoogle TV, the live call-in show, We give you a chance to call in and send in your stuff, documents. If you found something on, declassified.gov, you can actually live bring it up to the show. We can show everybody else. But through our 300 plus military, active and retired military members, people have been sending us a lot of stuff, and they're not YouTube videos. They're documents. They're essentially, they are, some of them are history lessons. Some of them are showing us that this is repeating itself. But most of all, they show us that the United States government is putting a lot of money into preparing for very specific events. Mind you, they are hiring companies like, what is it called? HDS, Human Domain Services, companies like this to hire people to do big events like this one that was done here in West Seattle. What they do is they have people, they pay them to act like they are, injured, this and that, and it gives the actual responders time to prepare and to practice these things. These things have coincided so many times and so closely to the real event so many times. And here's what I'm saying. Seattle is one of the biggest metropolises, trendsetters. Literally, it is a big chunk of the entire country's, GOP. California is one of the biggest, Texas, but Seattle has some of the craziest companies. I've talked about how, Cascadia Subduction Zone is knocking out the West Coast when it comes, and that's not a fear porn thing. That's a fact. That's a fear fact. Unfortunately, that's going to happen. And, these things, as far as the dates, they're going to come and go. But the eventuality of something like this really happening is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Look at how many other states have experienced these events, and we have not had ours. It's a matter of time. And I'll tell you this, Ohio just had one. Dex, have you seen in the last week, haven't we had like 10 different events happen? I mean, we're talking all over the place.
Yeah, we see the drills happening left and right. Everyone is getting prepared. And I think that's the one thing you said it already, but it needs to be reiterated. Is this not about, a date? It's really about being prepared for the inevitable. Like, if you're prepared for this when it happens, then you're going to be in a better position than if you're not prepared. So don't run off and panic. This is not about creating panic. This is about creating awareness. Like, you should be prepared for the types of events that can happen. And it's obvious that you need to, because your government and your officials are out in the streets as of 2 days ago doing the same preparation.
Yep, exactly. And just to remind you guys, a lot of you are like, where the heck have you been, Marf? On this channel, I have not gone live or done a video for 2 weeks. 1 week of that was because we were so focused on our live call-in show. But just so you know, over on the Marfoogle TV side, I have not gone live for a week. I was 3 numbers off of a hypertensive crisis at 33. That's really insane. You will probably never see me drink a Red Bull ever again. But part of that is they said that it's probably related to work-related stress. Dex and I put in a lot of hours into these shows, into collection, into managing all the people. We have over 11,000 people in our Discord, which I encourage everybody to get in their state groups. People are meeting in person and preparing. This is a real deal Holyfield thing. That's, our country is not always going to be heading in great places. We're seeing major changes all over the board. And then I, at the same time as going in with the hypertensive crisis, or 3 numbers off, it was like 177 over 140 some. I mean, it was insane. They were like, you shouldn't have this. You're 33. They thought I had heart, like a enlarged heart or something. They thought all sorts of things. And I had walking pneumonia, which is just nuts. So I have had to take a week off, recover from that. So I apologize to everybody in the live community that comes in. We have over 3,000 viewers every night, sometimes upwards of 5,000 viewers. So thank you guys for being patient with me and waiting for me to recover. On top of that, we've got so much stuff to do right now. We have so many things, but I encourage you to get in those groups and meet each other. If you do, and then, by the way, this is the anniversary of Osiris. What is it, Dex, again? It's Osiris
I think it's the resurrection of Osiris. So
this was just my 2 cents. The resurrection of Osiris, which is what? That's ancient Egyptian, right?
Yeah, ancient Egyptian. He was the lord of the underworld, judge of the dead, brother and husband to Isis.
You shouldn't have said the ISIS. Is that not creepy? Osiris Rex 2. That's actually just creepy in itself. And if you look at that, you've got basically ISIS in it. But not only that, I was actually making a totally different connection. The whole Osiris Rex mission, which is to essentially knock a asteroid off of course. So who knows? People are all thinking it's a nuclear thing. What if out of the blue we get hit with an asteroid, something like that? And again, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think the game's going to come and go. But I think there's a lot of very smart, nice people on YouTube that I think that a lot of us could not avoid this because so many people emailed. I'm not kidding you. I mean, this went, when they say that something goes viral or fire, sets the internet on fire, this one was really from left field. I knew a month ago that people were sending these emails, but the last couple days, so many people were genuinely concerned. And I just want to thank the people that were genuinely concerned for me and my family to get out of here because of this event. One thing I will say is I'm not directly in Seattle and I'm at least far enough away, but I was thinking like, I'm being superstitious, well, you know what I mean. I was being, I'm being a little overly paranoid too. Like this other gentleman who I talked to is completely normal. He said, well, I might just go on a hike tomorrow. He's already got the day off. Maybe I'm not going to be so close to Seattle. If you have that choice, maybe take advantage of it. But as far as, doing this, I was thinking SAR Bombas that's a pretty big boom. The Legion of Boom, just all these weird things. And you know that none of the stuff we've listed here, all the kind of coincidental things, none of that is what is in the original video. None of that is where Adam Green from No More News, I think it's Adam Green, I apologize. None of that he actually brought up. He added a bunch of stuff. There's just so many weird things. One thing about like this kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff that I do find myself like just going, no, that's just pulling things out of hats because that's not the numbers that are on there. It's not 11.3, it's 29. The numerology aspect of it, I know that a lot of my viewers watch some of the numerology people. More power to them. I think that some things have been done in the past through numerology, but the percentage-wise is very small compared to the symbology part of what these groups do. Even our president, the commander-in-chief, talks about the deep state. So that's pretty nuts that we are living in a time where we actually have our commander-in-chief basically telling us that there's a secret group behind and running things. Wow, what a time we live in. If you guys want to help our channel, if you want to help us grow, if you want to help me support myself and support the people that are going to be helping, we're trying to expand. You can always support us via going through EMP Shield. In fact, if you want to actually protect yourself against an EMP, it's one of the biggest threats. We always talk about the contingency plans and why we should have them. This is the world's only EMP protection device, not only for your home, you can get one for your car, for your ham radio, for your solar system, and even for your generator. If you think about it, if you have a generator and you have an EMP, it's going to be garbage. How are you going to start that generator up even though you got, barrels of gas and it doesn't work? Your car, how are you going to get out to your bug out location if your car doesn't work. So this actually protects you. This company is directly working with Homeland Security and the DoD. This isn't some company that's, this isn't some company that's like, oh, we do side jobs here and there. They are actually working with this new bill that was passed by the Commander-in-Chief himself, and they are working with those agencies to actually help us build up our grid. This is something that everyone should take advantage of. With our code MARF, you actually get $50 off of each device. So if you guys want to get one for different things and support us, please go about that. But I would, even if you didn't go through us, go around us. Don't put our code in. And seriously, make sure to get this, because if something does happen, these are proven. They are military tested. They're going in military buildings. So get the same protection that they have and protect you and your family. Because obviously it's not going to be great when the lights go out, but when they come back on, hopefully you have yours on. Dex, thank you so much for being patient with me as well. I know that you've been kind of standing by and knowing, you've kind of had to deal with me being so sick. So thank you.
I'm just glad you're feeling better, Adam. We were all praying for you.
I know, and I can't say enough about how many people, called, messaged, texted the official number, the 224-400 MARF. You guys are all awesome. I thank you. I just got notification of a couple more packages, so I'm sure people sent like get well cards and things like that. So thank you guys. That really means a lot. If you have artwork or anything that you paint or do anything like that, send it to our P.O. box. It's listed down below. Thank you guys so much. And seriously, I love all of you, and we will be back to the live show. If not tomorrow, it will be probably Tuesday, to be realistic. And that again is on Marfoogle TV. Love you. Be safe. Be prepared. And Marf out.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.